Hey everyone, my name is Connor Curran, and today on the Courage Chronicles, we are talking with Ammar Memon, and all about unlocking cash flow in your business through their solution, Quickly. Really excited. Let's get into it. Hi there, my name is Connor Curran, and I'm one of the co-owners of Local Laundry. Come join me on the Courage Chronicles, where we interview different people on their area of expertise and how they became successful and how you can learn from their success. Hey everyone, my name is Connor Curran. We're super excited today to have Ammar Memon here today from Quickly, co-founder and COO of Quickly, to tell us a little bit about his journey and how he became an expert and a connoisseur in his field. Thanks. Ammar.
Yeah,
thanks so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, excited to be here for sure. Connoisseur in the field. Yeah, it's been a great journey, a couple of years in, and how I got into it was actually meeting Kyle Friedman, my co-founder and our CEO. Before this, I worked in the energy services space, and that business and the companies I worked for were fantastic. It's really well capitalized, and it requires a lot of capital. So I worked for a company that was kind of a startup, private equity backed. And, we went through multiple acquisitions and IPO. And, along the way, I got to grow with the business. And we were well capitalized, but what I noticed being in the accounting and finance side was that our vendors weren't that well capitalized. Yeah. And they had this massive issue around working capital and cash flow issues. So that's how we got into it. And Kyle obviously experienced it from his lens, being an entrepreneur. So I saw the vendor side that they were in struggling with it, and he saw it as an entrepreneur that he was struggling with it. So a mutual friend of ours introduced us, and he told me about what he was doing, and I loved the idea right away. It took him 3 to 5 months to convince me to take a big leap and help him build this out.
That's awesome. So what was your role previously?
I've done a variety. I've been actually pretty lucky. I've done a lot of different roles, but primarily accounting and finance based. So kind of working my way up. I'm a very impatient person, so I always needed a promotion like every year or two. So, and fortunately, I worked for some phenomenal companies, Trican Well Service and Step Energy Services. Got to give them a shout out. But yeah, they kept me going along my path.
And so it was always kind of in the accounting, finance.
Yeah, accounting, finance, like all the way, I've kind of done it all. Accounting, AP, AR, to managing teams on the FP&A side. Helped integrate a company that we bought out of receivership. Actually, we bought 2 companies out of receivership. The Step was a wild ride. Starting in 2015, acquired a company, integrated those assets and built out the business. The next year we bought another one. The next year we did an IPO. And then next year we bought a $300 million US company as well. So wild ride, super grateful for the experience.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So what convinced you to go from that path to more sort of the entrepreneurial path and kick out on your own thing?
Yeah, I've always had an entrepreneurial bug. I think even they noticed that in my roles. They always kept moving me because they knew I wouldn't want to stick to the same thing, and I wanted to go and build the next department or the next thing that the company needed to do. So really lucky to have that. And it honestly came down to a point where I was looking at a few opportunities where I would be leading a company. And this idea really resonated with me. The unit economics made sense, but I'm an accountant by trade, so I'm risk averse. So that really held me back. But yeah, it took some time to figure it out. And really at the end of the day, it was, if I don't take a risk now, when will I do that? I'm already in my late 30s, so when would I take a risk like that? So it was a bit of that, kind of jumping off into the deep end. So that's what pushed me into it, and there's no looking back. It's been a phenomenal experience.
And what was it about the idea or the industry that appealed to you so much?
What appealed to me about it is that it's a global and universal problem. It's not industry specific. It's not Canada or North America specific. It's a global issue. So it makes sense from that perspective. I'm a spreadsheet guy, so if it makes sense on an Excel sheet, it makes sense to me and I want to do it. So I loved it from that perspective. And then Kyle introduced me to the whole world of technology and how we're gonna, facilitate it and become a tech company and not just a finance company.
Mm-hmm. And so why is it such a big problem?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a tough situation because we have trade credit. And so if I want to, in the B2B world anyways, if I want to go work for your company, I'll go do some work. Technically, you should just pay me because I've already done the work. But at some point or another, to convince you to use me instead of the other person, I said, okay, you know what? Actually, you could just pay me in 30 days. And the idea was to align it with your cash flow. So yeah, well, I'm gonna do the work, but then I probably have to do another 25, 30% of this job before my customer pays me. So I can't pay you until I have that cash. So the idea was just kind of cash flow matching. And then I think from there, it evolved into just a standard practice around payment terms. I think the purpose behind it overall makes sense to match the cash flow, but I think a lot of companies either have just kept it as it is. Sometimes they're taking advantage of it. So there's a lot of different reasons why it's a problem. But the core of the issue is somebody working for you is having to wait for the work that they've already done. But that doesn't mean they're shutting down their business. They're having to run payroll every 2 weeks. They're having to pay their suppliers that provided the materials or what have you in 30 days. So them having to wait for 60 days is a big issue. So, and that's where I think the solution lies.
And is there anything else out there in the market that offers a similar solution, or are you guys like the first one?
We're definitely one of the early ones. I wouldn't say first. There's been, invoice factoring has been around as long as I can remember. Supply chain financing is not a new concept. Large institutions have done this, and even some like mom and pop shops in various cities. You can go to every city and probably Google factoring company and you'll find something. What we're doing differently, and there's a few emerging players in this space now, is that we are using technology to make it efficient and to take out all the friction that's in this whole process.
Like what? Give an example.
So essentially, there's a back and forth that happens between companies if they want to facilitate something like this. There is a transfer of documents that has to happen. There's accounting entries that have to happen. So there's a lot of different pieces that go into actually facilitating the thing or the transaction. And what we've done is just automate that whole piece, where the buyer's company is going to have essentially an automated entry going into their system, which is like, okay, this invoice has been early paid. We're gonna continue paying on our normal terms, but Quickly is taking care of that. So, and then also there's the onboarding, credit review side. Every single aspect of it is what we've built into our technology.
Wow. So how does it work from the small business perspective? So I'm a small business owner.
Yeah.
I got, a client that we landed a big deal, a big t-shirt deal.
Yeah.
And, but they have net 60 payment terms. How does it work for us?
Perfect. So what we would do is actually go after that client first. So we would set up an early payment program for your client to say, hey, your vendors can benefit from this. Then what we do is we tap in their accounting system and pull all the bills that are there. And then we essentially invite the suppliers to say, hey, your bills are here. You can choose to take early payment on these if you like, or you could wait the 60 days. So essentially that supplier can now log in. It's completely free. Log in and see, oh, okay, yeah, these are the invoices I sent. It's gone through their approval process. And, this Friday's coming up. I'm 20K short of, whatever, paying my supplier, what have you. Yeah, I'll just take an early payment on this 30K invoice. Perfect, get some cash in the bank. And the next week, they don't need it. They're great. They're in good shape. They don't use it. It's completely kind of a la carte. And then the other element is if they don't need to use it, they can still get visibility. So when you send an invoice into your customer, like where to go? It just went into a black hole of their approval process, went from this person's desk to that person's desk. So you can actually see where your invoice is. Has it been approved? What status is it at? When are they gonna pay it? So it gives you that additional visibility as well to when that person is gonna pay you for those t-shirts.
Wow, okay. And so how long have you guys been doing this?
So the company launched in mid 2021. I jumped in January of 2022. being an accountant, I wanted to, I didn't want to leave right at year end, which I kind of did, but I helped them get the year end closed before I jumped in kind of full scale. I was essentially working, 16 to 20 hours a day for that first 3-month period to do Quickly during the days and then help them out in the evenings to get year end done. But yeah, I think it worked out as a good transition.
What was it like taking that leap?
Yeah, the leap was super nerve-wracking. I'd never done any sort of an entrepreneurial venture before. I had done sales for a year, so I got the feeling of the hustle and grind, but and it's something I craved. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking, leaving a high-paying job to do a startup where you take a massive pay cut and you're not really sure where it's going to go at the start. But you have to believe in what you're doing. So that's what we kept doing. And here we are a couple of years later. We're lucky to have been capitalized now. And we're going and growing.
That's super exciting. Well, there you have it, folks. That's how Quickly can help you and other SMBs unlock cash flow. And where can clients get in touch to check Quickly out?
Yeah, well, the clients can go on our website. It's www.helloquickly.com, just the way you would spell it. Reach out to one of us on there.
Thanks for coming on, Ammar. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for watching the Courage Chronicles. If you want to find out more information, click that big old link down below or check out YYC Calgary Business. Or you can even check out our clothing company, localaundry.ca. Thanks so much. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.